Have you ever looked at your phone and realized your whole world just shattered in 3 little words? I did. It was a Tuesday afternoon, sunlight streaming through my office window, the hum of printers and keyboard clicks all around, and I stared at the screen as if I'd been struck by lightning. The message was from Emma, my best friend of 15 years. "I'm in love with Mark." The words blinked in the green bubble, innocuous yet seismic. My breath caught. I reread them. Twice. 3 times. My hand shook so badly I had to press my elbows on the desk to stay upright. I could hear Mark's laugh ringing through the apartment. He'd been in the next room, teasing our toddler about the magic tickle monster. Emma's confession felt like a fist to my gut. My best friend, in love with my husband. I never saw it coming. I, Megan, am a planner. I color coordinate my calendar, schedule date nights 6 months in advance, and believe that friendship is as sacred as vows. Emma and I had shared college, dorms, apartment leases, heartbreaks, and holiday traditions. Sometimes I thought she was the sister I never had. And Mark, my husband of 3 years, was my partner in every sense. Co-parent, confidant, co-conspirator in midnight Netflix binges. To think Emma, my confidant, could harbor feelings for him felt like a grotesque betrayal. I pressed read and watched the bubble disappear. Seconds later, the typing indicator appeared. My heart pounded. She was watching me read it in real time. "Megs," she sent. "Did you get it?" I stared, frozen. My mind raced. What had I done to push her here? When had her adoration shifted from me to him? I pictured her bright smile, her easy laugh, the way she used to gush over my engagements and gender reveal party. How had that drifted into obsession? I took a trembling breath and typed, "Emma, we need to talk." My office felt too small, the walls closing in with fluorescent cruelty. I rose, heart thudding, and strode into the hallway, phone pressed to my ear. I hit FaceTime instead of calling, seeing her. Reaction mattered. She answered immediately. Her eyes were red-rimmed, mascara streaked like war paint. She sat on her living room floor, legs crossed, phone propped against a throw pillow. Behind her, our old apartment's peeling paint and mismatched throw pillows reminded me of every late night. Heart to heart we'd shared here. "Emma," I said, voice low. "Why?" She blinked away tears. "I don't know how it happened," she whispered. "It just did. Every time I saw you two together, your laughter, the way he looks at you." I felt this ache in my chest. I tried to push it away, but it got stronger. My throat tightened. "You're in love with my husband?" She pressed her lips together. "Yes." Silence stretched. I searched her face for remorse, guilt, something, anything. But her eyes held raw longing. "And what now?" I asked, feeling tears sting. She exhaled, voice catching. "I needed to tell you before I lost you, before I did something I couldn't take back." I bit my lip. "You could have lost me anyway." She flinched. "I'm sorry. I know it's monstrous." I pressed a hand to my chest, feeling the ache. "It is." I ended the call and sank onto my office chair, shaking. Reality splintered. My best friend, my family, my safe harbor betrayed me. My mind flickered through next steps. Confront Mark? Ask Emma to keep distance. And our friendship? Each option felt like losing a part of myself. I pulled out my phone again and texted Mark. "Can we talk? It's urgent. Come home early." I pressed send before I could second guess. Then I sat, hands clasped, waiting for answers that would change everything. I woke to silence. No toddler giggles, no cups clinking, just the hush of a house still spinning. From last night's revelations, I stared at the ceiling, the weight of Emma's confession and Mark's stunned apology pressing down like the heaviest quilt. Sleep felt impossible. By mid-morning, I'd brewed strong coffee and slipped into yesterday's sweater, its soft cotton-like armor against raw feelings. I found Mark in the study, perched at his desk, replaying our fight in grim detail. When he saw me, his shoulders sagged. "I thought I could handle it," he said softly. "But seeing her tell you, it broke me." I closed the door behind me. The afternoon light cast long shadows across his leather chair, shadows of doubt, guilt, and possibility. I took a breath. "We need to decide what happens next." He nodded, eyes pleading. "I love you. I want to make this right." I sank into the armchair. "First," I said, "I need space." He looked stricken. "Of course." I stood. "I'm going to my sister's for the weekend. I need distance from all of this to think." Without her voice in my head, he rose, closing the distance. "I'll give you all the space you need, but I'll be here, waiting, ready to talk when you are." I crossed my arms, swallowing the lump in my throat. "Thank you." That evening, I packed a bag, leaving behind the pillows I'd cried into, the photo frames, capturing happier times, the mug that still smelled like home. I slipped out the front door with my sister's number on speed dial and drove toward familiar roads where childhood memories softened life's edges. At my sister's, I collapsed into her embrace like a ship running ashore. She held me tight as I wept, the tears brimming with betrayal, grief, and an ache I hadn't known I harbored. Over bowls of mac and cheese and old episodes of our favorite sitcom, I told her everything. Emma's message, Mark's shock, the whirlwind of confronting best friend and husband in the same week. She listened without interruption, then handed me a mug. "You are not at fault," she said gently. "You didn't do anything wrong." I nodded against her shoulder. "I know, but I feel broken." She squeezed my hand. "Broken people heal, and sometimes we discover we're stronger on the other side." For the next 48 hours, I let my sister's home cradle me. I journaled the pain and the questions. Can I forgive Emma? Can I trust Mark again? Do I even want to? Then I wrote down what I did know. I want honesty. I want respect. I want partnership without secrets. One morning, I ventured out for coffee with a close friend, someone unaffected by the storm. Over lattes, I realized how my life, once so ordered and predictable, had become a lesson in resilience. Betrayal had thrust me into uncharted waters, but I was learning to swim. On Sunday afternoon, I drove back home with resolve tightening in my chest like the spine of a book. I pulled into the driveway and paused, scanning the place that had felt like a secure fortress only weeks ago. I inhaled deeply and unlocked the door. Mark met me in the foyer, eyes hopeful but cautious. Emma lingered at the top of the stairs. She'd come to return the small photo album I'd made for her birthday. The three of us stood in the entryway. Tension crackled like static. I stepped forward. "I'm back," I said softly. "I've thought long and hard, and I've decided I want to try if we can be completely honest and rebuild trust." Mark's face lit with relief. Emma's eyes filled with remorse. I turned to Emma. "I can't be friends with you right now. I need time. No calls, no texts." She nodded, tears falling. "I understand. I'm so sorry." She extended the photo album. I took it, our fingers brushing. "Thank you," I said. "I'll reach out when I'm ready." She slipped away. Without another word, I faced Mark. I'm willing to work on us, but on my terms. He drew in a breath. Tell me your terms. I outlined them, voice steady, total transparency, no more secrets, a weekly check-in to share. Concerns, boundaries around friendships and work. He agreed without hesitation, relief. Softening his features, I exhaled and stepped into his arms. This won't be easy, I whispered. He kissed my forehead. I know, but I love you, enough to prove it every day. That night, we sat on the couch and watched soft comedies, tentatively weaving back the threads of our life. Emma's absence felt like an empty seat, but it also made room for our renewed connection. Mark held my hand, eyes on the screen, but more on me, present, committed, hopeful. As I drifted off to sleep that night, I realized that the sharpest betrayals can lead to the deepest revolutions of the heart. It takes courage to walk away, and even more to walk back in. But with honesty as our compass and love as our guide, we chart a new course, stronger, wiser, and more united than before. I never thought the hardest step would be the one where I chose to stay. Monday dawned crisp and clear, birdsong drifting through the open windows. I woke before the alarm, heart fluttering with possibilities. Last night's conversation with Mark had left me hopeful. But this morning, I needed to feel the truth of my decision in every cell. I slipped out of bed in silence and wandered into the kitchen. Mark was already there, brewing tea, the delicate jasmine blend I loved. He glanced up, eyes warm. Morning, he said, voice soft. I accepted the steaming cup. Its fragrance felt like a gentle promise. Morning. We stood side by side at the counter, the house soft with early light. I realized how precious this quiet was, the calm after the storm, the space for rebuilding instead of fleeing. I've been thinking, I began, voice steady, about how we move forward. He nodded, leaning against the counter. Me too. I took a sip of tea. We set those terms, transparency, check-ins, boundaries. But I want to take it a step further. I want us to create new rituals that remind us why we chose each other and why we choose each other every day. His eyes brightened. Like what? I smiled, feeling excitement bloom. Tuesday night dinners, no phones, no distractions. Just us, and a monthly truth hour where we share one thing that's on our minds, good or bad, so nothing festers. He reached across, brushing his fingers over mine. I love that. I continued. I also want us to find a new shared passion, something neither of us has done before, a way to build fresh memories together. He laughed softly. Cooking classes? Pottery. I grinned. Pottery. Imagine us covered in clay, making whatever terrible creations we can. He chuckled. Deal. That evening, as the sun dipped low, I joined Mark at the door of our local ceramic studio. We slipped on aprons the color of fallen leaves and settled at a pair of wheel stations. The instructor demonstrated the technique, hands guiding soft clay as though coaxing a secret from the earth, and then left us to try. My first attempt collapsed in a sad heap. I laughed, pure, surprised laughter that felt like sunlight bursting through clouds. Mark's creation wobbled dangerously but held its form, a crooked vase with charm and personality. He glanced at me, pride lighting his face. You're a natural, I teased as clay spattered across my apron. He shrugged, focused. Only because I have the best partner. I felt warmth seep into my bones. This new ritual, shared vulnerability, silly messiness. It was the antidote to betrayal's cold sting. Weeks turned into months, and our truth hour became as sacred as our anniversary. Every Sunday evening, candles flickered on the coffee table, and we faced each other with notebooks in hand. We shared triumphs and worries, the toddler's tantrums, stress at work lingering, insecurities. Sometimes the confessions were small. I felt jealous when you complimented someone else's presentation. Sometimes they were big. I'm still afraid of losing you. Each admission was met with a listening heart and a promise. Thank you for telling me. I hear you. Our Tuesday dinners became culinary adventures, testing recipes neither of us dared try alone. We spilled pasta sauce on the floor, burned garlic, and tasted test sauces with grimaces and giggles. Our confidence in the kitchen mirrored our confidence in our marriage, messy, unpredictable, but always centered on each other. And for Lily, Emma's feelings resolved through therapy. I honored the boundary we'd set. We exchanged occasional polite texts, updates on the toddler's milestones, birthday party, invites, but our friendship remained paused, a tender space I'd later choose to revisit only if trust could be rebuilt. For now, my sister-in-law's journey was her own, and my husband and I needed to focus on ours. One spring morning, Mark surprised me with an email invite. Let's celebrate our journey. The attachment was a PDF, a timeline of key moments since Emma's confession from that fateful text to our first pottery class, our first truth hour, our first ceramic sale of duo-crafted vases. He titled it Our Rewoven Story and embedded photos, quotes, and little anecdotes in a scrapbook. Layout. Tears welled as I clicked through each page, the image of my tear-streaked face reading Emma's message, the shaky candids of our confrontation at the study door, the smiling snapshots in the ceramic studio. Each image was a testament to our resolve to choose each other. I closed the laptop and found him standing behind me with a single tulip, the flower I'd insisted had no role at our wedding, now blooming in a glass bud vase. For you, he said, voice thick. I turned and wrapped my arms around him. Thank you, I whispered, for every step. He kissed my forehead. Always. That night, I wrote the final entry in my journal, a habit I'd begun during my sister's weekend. Rescue mission. I recorded my gratitude for my capacity to forgive, for my strength to set boundaries, for my willingness to rebuild. I noted our new rituals and the peace they brought. Then I closed the book and placed it beside my grandmother's quilted wrap, symbols of the past and the future coexisting in my life. As I drifted to sleep, I held Mark's hand under the covers, feeling the rise and fall of his breath. I realized that love hardened by betrayal isn't fragile. It's tempered in fire, stronger and more resilient. We had navigated deceit, heartbreak, and doubt, and chosen each other again. In the silence of our bedroom, I whispered into the dark. I walked in on betrayal, and I walked forward into trust. And as the moonlight wrapped around us, I knew our story had transformed from shock to confrontation, from distance to dialogue, from brokenness to a bond deeper than before. We had proven that even the sharpest cracks can be filled with honesty, with empathy, and with the unwavering decision to stay. That is how love endures,